I'm starting to feel a little bit tired of making these ideas up, honestly. What's going on? I'm John, and in this video, I'm going to be brainstorming as many ideas as I can in a single day. I'd like to get 100 ideas at the minimum, if not multiple hundreds of ideas. And the reason I'm doing all this is because after finishing my poetry and my short story, I realized that I didn't really have a next project that I was going to be working on. So I need to come up with some ideas for the next thing to write, and that is exactly what I'm going to be doing today. Okay, so the process that I'm going to use to brainstorm ideas, I've already talked about a little bit in another video, so if you want to learn all about that process, then you can watch that. Basically, I'm going to use a seed for my brainstorming, whether that is a specific genre I'm going to focus on, or a setting, or even characters. I'm going to focus on generating ideas around a specific topic. I will generate 10 to 20 ideas for each of those topics. I'm going to go through and highlight the ones that I found most interesting, and once I've collected a bunch of different ideas that I think are interesting, then I'm going to expand upon those to come up with even more ideas. So let's get started with the first brainstorming session. And because I was watching Brandon Sanderson's second lecture on world building today, I actually got inspired to use some of these cultural and physical settings as the seeds for my brainstorming. So let's start with one of these seeds. I'm not sure which one I'm going to pick, but I'll tell you in just a second. Okay, this is kind of fun. I'm going to start with an action adventure story where religion feeds into the action adventure. I was originally planning on sticking with religion and action adventure, but I think pairing these two things together is making it harder to come up with ideas, and it's kind of boxing me in. So instead, I'm just going to go with religion, and I think it'll be easier to come up with interesting ideas for something like that. And these ideas could be the seed of a story that is action adventure, but it would give me less things to have to try to manage when I'm just doing this brainstorming process and just trying to come up with lots of different things, not necessarily a bunch of amazing things right off the bat. So let's get back into it. I'm on idea 6, and we're going to focus on just religion right now. Okay, so I just came up with 38 ideas around the religion theme, and I think I've kind of beat this one to death. So I'm going to switch over to a different main theme. We're going to start with government. So let's see where that takes me. Okay, so I just finished brainstorming some government story ideas. I got 15 ideas, so that puts me at a grand total so far of 53 ideas. I'm going to continue with this brainstorming in a little bit, but it's already 8:25 right now. So I need to go out and do my cross training for the day as part of my Haruki Murakami training plan. At least that's what I'm calling it. Today's walk is going to be 50 minutes long, so I'm gonna be out there for quite a bit today. And I'll show you a little bit of where I go, and then we'll come back and continue with this. Whew. Okay, so I just got back. It was pretty chill, but I did get a little bit sweaty. So I'm gonna go take a shower real quick, eat some breakfast, and then I'll be back to brainstorm more of these ideas. Okay, so I'm eating my typical breakfast here. I totally forgot to start filming because I was doing so much work to prepare it. And I'm also reading this book, A River Enchanted. Okay, so I'm back and ready to come up with more ideas. One thing I forgot to mention before is that I'm also taking some ideas that I already generated and expanding on them. So if I find something that I really like or something that I think is interesting, then I'll use that as the seed for more ideas. So I've done that a few times already, and I think I'm going to start by doing that with some of my government ideas, but then I'm going to switch to another topic because I don't think this one is as fruitful for me so far. We'll see. Okay, so I just finished coming up with ideas for the government theme, and now I'm moving over to economics. So this one will be interesting. Okay, so I just exhausted the whole economics theme, and now I've crossed a milestone for the day so far. 101 ideas. Anyway, it is 12:36 right now, and I already have more than a few ideas that I'd like, some ideas that I would love to actually explore. So I'm looking forward to diving into these a little bit more and figuring out more details about these in the future. But for right now, I just want to come up with more ideas. I want to get at least 200 here, so we'll see what I can do. I don't know what topic I'm going to do yet. Let's take a look. Fashion, not a part of culture I care about that much. Food is an interesting one though. How about we do food next? So food is going to be the next topic I'm going to dive into and try to come up with ideas about. Okay, so I just exhausted all of the food ideas. I got some pretty wacky ideas there toward the end. One of them I actually do think would be cool for like a children's book or something around that. I don't think it's old enough for middle grade because it's a little bit too zany. Although I don't really plan on writing books for kids. Maybe I will. I don't know. The next topic I'm going to do is rites of passage. I think this one could be really interesting. I am not exactly sure what will come of it, but we will see in just a second. Okay, I pretty much exhausted rites of passage and I'm starting to feel a little bit tired of making these ideas up, honestly. My brain is starting to feel a little worn out. I'm only at 139 ideas though right now. And I really wanted to get to 200. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna do a few more. I'm going to pick one of these topics. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna do. I kind of like hierarchy, but the problem with hierarchy is that I already have an idea that I'm thinking about working on, and that's around hierarchy, so I feel like my brain will probably want to return back to that all the time. So maybe I'll do languages instead. Taboos could be interesting too. How about we do taboos, because that'll be a fun one. So I'm just going to get into brainstorming some taboos right here, and I'll try to come up with some story ideas ascending from that. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so I just came up with 8 more ideas for these taboos, and there were actually some interesting ones that came out of it. However, I'm starting to feel really worn out on idea creation right now, so I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break. So during this break, I'm going to be watching a little bit of Japanese media, and once my brain feels a little bit less wrecked, I'm going to come back and try to come up with some more ideas. It's actually harder than I thought to do this. Let's go. You like those sound effects?
また宴を開こう。まあまあ時間なかったけど。
Okay, so I've taken a decent break from brainstorming ideas, but I'm still only sitting at 140 something, 149 maybe, and I really did want to get to 200 today. So I'm going to change things up a little bit. I've been inside the whole day besides actually doing my walk, so I'm going to go outside and try to write from out there. It's not particularly warm right now, so I'm going to wear this hoodie here, but maybe that will help me concentrate and come up with some new ideas. Yeah, my break was pretty long, man. I had some dinner. I did some Japanese. 1 second. Finally, I got the phone back. What in the... Okay, I'm gonna fix up this situation a little bit here, 1 sec. Hopefully my phone doesn't get blown over here, oh my god. Anyway. Okay, so we've crossed the 150 mark. We are at 157. I think I'm kind of out of the ideas as far as continuing through that list of cultural settings that Brandon Sanderson was talking about in his lecture. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start looking through some of the ideas that I've just randomly thought of in the middle of the night or when driving or whenever. And I'm going to use those ideas as the seed for further ideas and try to generate more ideas, different variations on those ideas from them. Okay, so I managed to get up to 171 ideas so far. I would like to get to 200, but right now I actually have a meeting with a few friends online, so I'm gonna go into that and we'll see how long that lasts. It usually lasts over an hour and it's already 5:03. So we'll see what happens, but I would still like to get 30 more to get to over 200. So I'm feeling a little bit refreshed after that meeting, honestly. I don't feel as just beat up in the brain as far as coming up with these ideas. So I'm looking forward to getting in and trying to knock out another 30 something ideas so I can get to 200. That would be cool. So I'm gonna get right into it. Let's go. Okay, so I just finished another round of looking through some old ideas and trying to revamp them, basically find different perspectives on them. And through doing this, I worked my way up to 187 ideas so far. So we have spawned quite a few ideas so far, and I'm starting to feel a little more tired, but I want to power through to at least 200. Come on. So I'm going to keep looking through some of these old ideas and figure out some more seeds for really good ideas. Okay. I went through all my ideas now. Okay, so I wasn't expecting this to happen at all, but I just finished going through all my ideas that I thought of over the months and whatnot, and I didn't really find one that I wanted to expand on, so I'm gonna need to go back to the drawing board a little bit because I don't know what to do next, really. I think maybe I can go back to the original concept where I try to come up with ideas for a specific genre or something, or maybe I try to come up with ideas based on the cultural setting or things like that using the lecture that I watched today. Let me see. Languages could be an interesting one. So I'm actually going to do languages quickly because I think that that one has some potential and I could really riff on that one. So let's try using languages as the seed for different story ideas. Okay, so I just finished generating the ideas for languages and I was able to generate 14 ideas, putting me in a grand total of 201 ideas for the day. Whew, that was a lot. So I think I'm actually going to stop there at 201, but I do have one thing that I still want to do. In the beginning, I was going through each of these seed lists and finding the ideas that I liked the most and highlighting them, but I didn't really do this practice the entire time. So I'm going to go through the lists that I didn't do this for and figure out which ideas I liked the most from them. Then I'm going to cultivate a master list of the ideas that I really liked, and I can use those in the future to generate even more ideas or as the roots for stories. So I'm going to do that right here, and then I'll tell you how this overall experience went, as well as how many ideas I generated that I actually liked. That would actually be a pretty interesting one too to add on. Okay, so I basically narrowed it down to the ideas that I actually think are pretty cool and think would be a good seed for future ideas or even a full story. And in doing that, in removing all the ideas that I didn't necessarily love, I narrowed it down to 58 ideas. So out of the 201, I ended up with 58 ideas that I actually liked and would actually be thinking about pursuing for a story. So I think that's actually pretty good. So overall, this process of brainstorming over 200 ideas, just barely over 200 ideas, but still over 200 ideas, was actually pretty tough. I felt tired. My brain started to feel worn out as I was just continuously churning the ideas out. And some breaks were useful for this. I do think it's possible if I had a really focused day and if I had a really good day where I was really rested and everything was just going perfectly, for me to come up with even more ideas, or if I already had all the seeds that I wanted to use planned out beforehand, that might enable me to come up with even more ideas. But still, 200 I think is a pretty good amount to come up with in a single day. Overall, I think this experiment was a success for me. I have lots of ideas that I'm going to be able to use in my writing over the next few months, and maybe even in the future beyond that. So if you like this video, make sure to smash that like button so that YouTube knows to share with other writers like you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm shaking the camera so much. It's an earthquake. Ah! Okay, I'm done. See you next time.